On episode 328 of the 40 Plus Fitness podcast, we meet Thom King and discuss his book, Gone Keto. You can find the full show notes for this episode at 40plusfitnesspodcast.com/328. Have you decided you're ready to make a change? To reclaim your health and fitness? The 40 Plus Fitness podcast is here for you. I'm your host, Alan Meisner. I'm an NSAM certified personal trainer with a specialization in corrective exercise and fitness nutrition. Let me be your coach as you find your way on your health and fitness journey. All right, let's go. Our guest today is the founder and CEO of Stevia Brands, one of the largest importers, manufacturers, and distributors of natural sweeteners. He is a self-described biohacker, and he's made his life work trying to figure out ways to get people off of sugar. Today, we're going to talk about his book, Gone Keto, and his journey from finding himself a busy executive who was not taking care of himself to being as healthy as he can be. I know you're going to enjoy this conversation. So with no further ado, here's Thom King. So Thom, welcome to 40 Plus Fitness.
Thanks, Alan. I appreciate you having me on your show. It's truly an honor. So thank you.
So the book today we're going to talk about is Gone Keto. And I really enjoyed the book from the perspective of your story and how it really did, in a sense, parallel mine, although I think you fast-tracked a lot better than I did in getting from the decision point to the actually making things happen. Mine took nearly 8 years. Yours took slightly over a year. But we both were sitting in I would call a very miserable state. And we were frustrated with that. And we made a decision that we were going to change that. I happened to be in Puerto Vallarta when I did mine. You happened to be in Las Vegas. Would you mind sharing your story about that and how that frustration then led to your change?
Well, yeah, it was definitely frustration, but I think that the biggest part was just being disappointed in myself and feeling like I had poor integrity, because I run a food ingredient company, and we cater to ketogenic products and sports nutrition. And I was exceptionally unhealthy. My blood pressure was 199/99, and I was 35 pounds heavier than I am now. I was drinking a bottle of wine every night and eating bread and cookies and all sorts of garbage. So I think I bottomed out when I was in Las Vegas. I was there for a trade show. I went to dinner with a client and way overate, had a couple glasses of wine, came back to the room, which, Vegas is the room that I stayed in, just smelled like stale booze and regret. And I found myself waking up the next morning not feeling really great and looking in the mirror, and seeing really how fat I was and how disgusted I was in myself. And at that point, I think that the pain of being out of integrity and the pain of my sloth and overweightness exceeded the pleasure that I was deriving from drinking too much wine and eating too many sweets and carbohydrates. So at that point, I just told myself, this is the end. I'm going to be making a major shift in my lifestyle. And that's when I got on board with leading a ketogenic lifestyle from that point forward.
Okay. And I like the way that you approach that, and it's a unique way to approach it, where you're talking about the pain of failure is greater than the value that you're getting from the activities that you're doing. Because I'll be honest with everyone here, when I go to a tailgate, I drink the beer and I hang out. I typically try to get a higher quality beer, but I drink the beer nonetheless and know that I'm not going to feel so great. But the social interaction and those events, I actually do feel they are valuable enough to me at this point in my life that I don't want to forgo those So I go through my what I call my feasting period, where I kind of back away from keto a little bit. But I'm really interested in your thought patterns around using pain as a leverage tool to get something going, to basically make you change something in your life.
Well, I mean, for me, pain is the great teacher. I don't avoid pain. I probably seek it out more than I avoid it. And I think that human beings are driven by two things. I think they're driven by the avoidance of pain, and they are driven by seeking pleasure. And so you will continue, if you're seeking pleasure and you are, and the pleasure that you're seeking is drinking too much, eating too much, whatever habit that you've got, if you're able to really attach pain to that, like when you take a look at, well, is eating this donut, is this going to be painful or is it going to be enjoyable? It'll be enjoyable for that first few minutes. But if you really are mindful and present in what you're doing, you can take a good look at what eating the donut really means. It's going to raise your blood sugar level. It's going to, contribute to metabolic disease. It's also going to lead to lower self-esteem, because are you going to really feel good about yourself after you eat the donut? So if you start associating so much pain with something that you're deriving pleasure from, once the pain exceeds the pleasure, you'll be able to break that habit.
Yeah. And I like your example of a donut, because I don't have the same draw to a donut that I know in there the reward is not worth the pain. For me, the time with family and with friends and, the socializing aspects of all of it, and not being that guy that's not having the beer, to me is a little different. But I get that, when you look, particularly if you're in a bad state and if you're looking to improve yourself, it's a very stoic kind of approach to thinking about how to solve that problem.
Yeah, and I mean, I do derive a lot of that from Stoicism. One of my daily practices is to read from the Daily Stoic, and I mean, I do leverage that quite a bit. So, I mean, being able to find answers in pain and answers in situations that are challenging. I mean, that's part of my routine.
Yeah, I have a copy of that book sitting on my desk right here, along with your book. But now, in the book, again, Guy Gone Keto, you have this kind of your first steps, and I really liked your approach to this. I really liked how you kind of laid this out. Of these are the things that need to be going through your mind. This is what you need to be doing to kind of get this whole process going. In the case of the book, we're talking about getting ourselves into ketosis. But this, I think it really applies to just any time you want to address a health or fitness issue.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. Like anything that you do want to achieve, it's being able to set the goal. I think it is creating the intention and really being able to outline the outcome that you're looking for, and then on top of that, using a lot of data collection so you can see where you started and then where you're going. So if you can see progress and you're starting to see yourself getting closer to the outcome that you're looking for, those are the best first steps that you can take.
Okay. And there was another thing you had in here that I liked, was that, and this is really something that's hard for people to wrap their minds around when they want to lose weight, is they want that 35 pounds or 55 pounds, they want it gone tomorrow. And I can say from my start to finish of when I really got committed and really got started doing the right things, be it started with the paleo, found myself naturally in ketosis, started reading on what ketosis is, and then really bared down on that. But this was not something that just happened in a day or a week or even a month. It took me nearly 11 months to really kind of drop that kind of weight. And so it was a slow progression, a few plateaus, but just a slow progression. So I like how in the book you kind of explain to us why going slow is important.
I think that if people are looking to lose weight fast, that's more of a diet situation. I mean, and I also think that that's pretty unhealthy, because I think that if you adopt the diet, what's going to happen is you're going to get yo-yo weight. So you're going to be on the diet, you're going to lose the weight, then you're going to go off the diet, you're going to gain the weight back and maybe a little bit more. So that's the big difference. I mean, there's a difference between diet and there's a difference between adopting a particular lifestyle. And so I think that if you I think that if you adopt the particular lifestyle, it becomes more about the process than the outcome. I mean, you can definitely define the outcome, say, I want to lose 35 pounds, but the process is what you do every day to get there. And I would say, don't be in a hurry. Don't lose the weight too fast, lose it, a pound at a time. And because if you lose a whole bunch of weight really fast, you're going to be dealing with other issues like loose, saggy skin, and also it's very taxing on your liver. So it's take your time, your time and immerse yourself in the process. And then naturally the outcome will manifest itself.
Cool. Now, one of the other things now I do want to get into a little bit of discussion about ketosis. Mm-hmm. And so one of the things that you also had in your first steps was to avoid the high glycemic foods, because those are definitely not going to allow us to be into ketosis. But they're also the items that are going to kind of spike our blood sugar and get us to a point where we're not able to lose weight or keep ourselves from potentially gaining weight.
Mm-hmm. Well, as far as so when the shift from getting into ketosis is your body actually shifting from burning glucose as a form of energy to burning fat as a source of energy. So the ketogenic lifestyle or ketogenic diet basically is 70% fat, 20% proteins, and 10% vegetables. And these vegetables are going to be like green leafy vegetables, cruciferous vegetables like broccoli and cauliflower. And basically, if it grows underground, meaning if it's a potato or a carrot or something like that, that those are going to tend to be more on the high glycemic end. So you've got like this pretty big option of food that you can eat.
Yeah. And I think it's important for folks to really, when we start talking about these types of macros, it's easy to think that you're in that macro range, but if you're really not paying attention to what you're eating, you can easily slide one way or the other and not get the benefits that you're after, which leads me to the next area I want to talk about is journaling. I've had clients that, they're on the calls or with me and they're saying, Alan, I don't understand it. I'm eating really, really well. And I don't understand why I'm not losing the weight. I'm doing the exercises. I'm eating well. Everything's going great. I'm like, okay, well, get yourself a notebook and start a journal.
At 100%. I mean, that's the data collection part of your journey. And I think that definitely go out, buy yourself a journal and start doing data collection. Do data collection on how much you weigh, what your ketones are, what your blood sugar level is. I mean, this is a process, and the more data collection you do and the more you journal and the more you're going to find the areas where you can make improvements. Like, if you're writing down everything that you ate in a day and you think, hey, you know what, I'm eating 2,000 calories a day, I'm probably burning 2,200 calories a day, so I'm in a 200 calorie deficit. That might not be true at all, because particularly when you're eating keto, a lot of the stuff that you're eating is going to be high fat, and when it's high fat, it means it's high calories. So, you might have some almonds in the palm of your hand. It might be 5 to 10 almonds. You're looking at about 200 calories there. So when you start writing these things down, and understanding where the holes are, you can really plug the dike.
Yeah, well, one almond is basically 16 calories. So if you're off by one almond, that could be potentially 10 pounds of weight gain in a year. So it's not that you have to be exact, because calories are not really ever exact. They're estimates anyway. But you go 3 weeks by track what you've eaten, the volumes you've eaten, and you really kind of pay attention to those numbers, you're going to get to a point where you understand 2,000 calories is maybe a little too much, or 20, maybe I need 2,500 because I'm losing weight a little too fast. So taking the time to write those things down, and then even to go further than just the data collection, is how do you feel when you wake up? What's your energy level throughout the day? Do you find yourself needing to take a nap, at 2 o'clock in the afternoon? How much coffee are you drinking now? And, are you getting your electrolytes? Are you getting enough salt and enough water? There's just so much that a journal will allow you to collect and understand about yourself, to include your mood and your stress. That just, I press it on my clients all the time, that I just do think a journal is a great tool for anyone that's looking to make a change, or at least understand why they are where they are.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I don't just use my journal for tracking macros and my behavior, but I also use my journal to sort of set the stage for my day. I do write down, like, what are the things that I'm most grateful for today? And, what am I going to do today to make this day great and excellent? And then I just end it with an affirmation of, with every breath I take in, I attract and create, abundance and health and wellness in my life. And with each exhale, I lovingly release any and all self-limiting beliefs that no longer serve me. So combining that with breathing exercises, I have found that journaling is something that I must do every day.
Yes. And I'm doing it. I wish I were better at doing it all the time. But again, that's kind of one of those practices that I really struggle with. But when I'm doing it, I feel so much better organized. I feel so much more, complete, and like I have everything together with my, relationships, with my food, with my sleep, with all of it. So I just do think it's a great practice to understand what's going on, to have kind of a path forward, and to be always affecting change. So if you're someone that's in the continuous improvement model with your life, a journal is a must have.
Absolutely. Yep. It's a daily event for me.
So when we talked a little bit about calories, and for a lot of folks, they'll say, okay, they're telling me I've got to cut the sugars and I've got to cut calories, but they love, as we call down in the South, they love their Coke. Which down here, Coke just means any soda. So you go to order, you come down here and you want to order a soft drink, you just ask for a Coke, and then they'll ask you what flavor. And then you have to repeat yourself, and I said, Coke, just a regular Coke. And you'll wonder why you had to repeat yourself, because Coke is just our word for soda, or soft drink, or pop, or whatever you want to call it. But so they'll say, okay, well, that's one of the easy cuts, is immediately I'm going to give up my pop, my soda, my Coke, and I'm going to move over to this diet soda, because the diet soda has 0 calories. So it's like the perfect drink because it tastes almost like the regular thing. And once I get used to it, it'll be fine. And it has no calories. So they go into this mindset of, this is the diet drink. This is what I need. And they all say diet or light, or this is what I need to drink. Can you tell us why that's not necessarily the best path to health?
Well, I mean, I do a lot of experiments on myself. I mean, I would consider myself a bit of a biohacker. So I was drinking a lot of Diet Coke and a lot of Diet Pepsi, thinking that, okay, so this is going to help me, maintain good blood sugar levels. It'll keep me in ketosis. But what I found is that if I was drinking diet soda at night, when I wake up the next morning, my blood sugar level would be elevated, and I was having a hard time getting myself, into deep nutritional ketosis. So I just conducted a little bit of an experiment, and then I also talked to a couple PhDs about what's potentially going on with diet soda. And so I've tested blood sugars before, blood sugar after, same with ketones. And I found that diet soda that contains aspartame or sucralose, which is Diet Coke and Diet Pepsi, that those will actually elevate my blood sugar levels, and they will slightly decrease the amount of ketone bodies. And when I talked to a couple doctors about it, what came up for them is that your body doesn't recognize these man-made chemicals. It recognizes that it's sweet, but it doesn't recognize them because we don't have the receptors for them. Like with stevia or monk fruit, like with natural high intensity sweeteners, our body recognizes it because we've got the receptors to recognize it. So it says, oh, this is stevia or this is monk fruit. This tastes sweet, but it's not impacting, blood sugar levels at all. This is how we'll metabolize it. But with aspartame and sucralose, your brain doesn't recognize it. We don't have receptors for it, which means that your body is basically going to function like you just had sugar. And the only benefit that you could get from chemically sweetened soft drinks is the calorie abatement. But you're still going to get a rise in your blood sugar level, and you're still going to get your ketone levels to drop because your body doesn't know what it is.
And so even though it's not sugar and even though it's 0 calorie, it's doing a sugar-like thing to you, or it's maybe not exactly like sugar, but it's changing your metabolism by causing your insulin and sugar responses to kind of go out of whack.
Absolutely. And I've done this experiment, several times. And occasionally I'll indulge myself with a Diet Coke. I love Diet Coke, but I do so with the knowledge that it is going to probably take me out of ketosis, and it is probably going to raise my blood sugar levels a little bit. The fact that it doesn't have any calories is a plus, but when you're leading a ketogenic lifestyle, the goal is to keep yourself above, say, 0.6 to 1.5 millimoles of ketone bodies. So there's going to be a cost to it. But there's plenty of good replacements out there, like Zevia. Zevia is a soft drink it's made with stevia, and it's actually really good. And so if I'm going to indulge with a diet soft drink, I will certainly go with something that, that's naturally sweetened over something that's, artificially sweetened.
Yeah. And when I moved away from Diet Coke, and I was definitely an addict, the getting away from it was painful. So it's not easy, but I did replace that with the green teas and coffee and things like that. So there are there's some products that are stevia based that are really good. If you want to continue the cola route, and there's also tea and coffee, or good old water.
Yeah. And when you're on a ketogenic diet, and drinking plenty of water is really important. You want to keep your body definitely hydrated, so your kidneys aren't working overtime.
Yeah, and that is a big thing that a lot of folks struggle with ketosis. They get what they think is hunger. And the reality of it is that either they're not getting enough water, or they're not getting enough electrolytes. And once they figure that out for themselves, they're so much better off, and they have so much more energy.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And that is key. And I do keep little packets of electrolytes, and I have an app on my phone that reminds me to drink water every hour.
And then there's your journal. So full circle. Did I get enough water today?
I hold myself accountable.
Good deal. So Thom, if someone wanted to get to know you, get to know more about Gone Keto, and all the other things you're doing, because you've got a lot going on, where would you like for me to send them?
Well, you can find me on any and all socials under Gone Keto. You could also find me personally on all of the socials, and that's Thom King, ThomKing PDX is in Portland. My personal website's thomking.com, ThomKing, and my company is Steviva Brands, and you can go to Steviva, STEVIVA.com. Any of the socials, and feel free to reach out, direct message me. I'm available to answer anybody's questions.
I will have all of those links and all those social media outputs available in the show notes. You can go to 40plusfitnesspodcast.com/328 and find all of those links there. So Thom, thank you so much for being a part of 40 Plus Fitness.
No, Alan, I mean, it was an absolute pleasure and it was an honor to be on your podcast.
Thank you. I hope you enjoyed that conversation with Thom. I know I did. The similarities in some of our storylines and the things that we went through was just very, very interesting. And it's also interesting that both of us found keto as a way to address our issues. It turns out to me, I mean, July for me is becoming kind of this month of book editing. It's not fun. I don't really enjoy the process of doing the editing of something that I wrote or said. And as I go through it, it's a struggle. But I'm seeing the book come to life, and that's really, really exciting. I'm calling the book The Wellness Roadmap. I'm going to start putting together a page for that real soon. It'll probably be at wellnessroadmap.net. If you go out there right now, I probably won't find too much, but I am putting that together, and it's just really exciting to see a book come together where we're working through cover art and we're talking about layout. And we're, of course, dealing with pages and pages of text. But it got me to thinking. There are certain things that are true in life. Is that if you want something, it's not always a direct path. You can't necessarily be a better human, can't do the things you always want to do just by doing them. I like playing volleyball, but I know that I'm not going to be as good a volleyball player if I don't put in the time to do other things. Some of the things that we don't like sweating. Or lifting weights, or when the weather doesn't let us get outside, doing our runs on a treadmill. There are going to be those times when there are things that we don't enjoy that we should still do to improve our health. And one of the kind of the caveats out there, what's the best exercise? And the answer that's typically given is the one you'll do. And I completely wholeheartedly agree with that. When we were looking at cover art, we were, there was a one where a couple being relatively athletic on the page. It just said people might not like that. They might not like that's you have to do workouts to get the things you want. And you don't, I'm not gonna say you have to, but if you want optimal health, if you want true wellness, then sometimes you are going to probably have to do a few things that you don't enjoy. And I want you to think about those things from the perspective of why you're trying to get where you're trying to get. And it does make those things just a little more tolerable. So do the things you don't want to do when it's getting you to a place where you want to be. And then that's sort of the short story of all that. So I'm going to be spending a lot of time editing a book, even though it's not the funnest thing for me. I am very excited about what it's going to do when I'm done. Also, this week, I'm getting on a plane to New London, Connecticut, actually flying into Boston, but I think it's about a two and a half hour drive from there. But then I'm going to go to New London, Connecticut on the 20th through the 22nd. I'll be there. If you're in the area, you can email me at alan@40plusfitnesspodcast.com. And I'll be glad to catch a coffee or a drink with you. Let's have a good time. Let's get to know each other. I really like talking to people that have heard the podcast and get your advice on some things that I can do better as a podcaster and as a coach. And to talk about coaching, I kind of mentioned this last week. I'm looking for clients. I want to help you do this. If you're looking for a coach, you think you might get some value from a coach, let's talk about it. I know a lot of this is you go on the online, you see a form, you see a page. I'm not a pressure salesman. I'm not going to say do this or else. I see a lot of that. I see a lot of lose 20 pounds in 3 weeks and and that's great. That's great. You can lose 20 pounds in 3 weeks. It's completely possible. It's not healthy, and it's not going to make you well. It's going to make you thinner, but it's not necessarily going to make you well. I, as a coach, try to empower my clients. I try to teach my clients, and I help my clients. And as a result, they get well. And that's what I want for you. So if you're on the fence, you think this is something that might be good for you, you can go to 40plusfitnesspodcast.com. I've got some information there. I can tell you about all the programs I have if you want to know. But you can go to 40plusfitnesspodcast.com/talk. And that's going to take you to a calendar link where you can actually book a 15-minute block of time, and we can just talk. We can talk through whatever issues you're dealing with, whatever your health concerns are, whatever your fitness goals are. We can talk through what they are, and make a decision if coaching is right for you. It's not right for everybody, but I can tell you, having someone there to keep you accountable, someone there that's coaching you, someone there that's teaching you, someone there that's empowering you to take your fitness journey, your health journey, your wellness journey to the next level. I think there's a lot of value there that you might be missing out on. So I'd encourage you to go to 40plusfitnesspodcast.com/talk and learn more today. Thank you. Next time on the 40 Plus Fitness Podcast, we meet Dr. Joel Kahn and discuss his book, The Plant-Based Solution. Until then, have a happy and healthy week.